just kind of flow into this because I haven't done an intro in fuck all long time.
Ages?
Yeah.
Ages.
So basically now, as I sit here and like stammer for like whatever we're doing, this season's been something.
Story-wise, it's been amazing. I think it's one of the most cinematic ones we've actually had to deal with, yet in Destiny so far.
Mm-hmm.
Even among the actual full DLCs, I think this has been a much better story than Curse of Osiris or
Warmind.
Well, Warmind was it Warmind? Oh gosh, yeah, it was.
we actually got story. We found out about Keitel finally. It's not just a lore tab entry. Hell, we didn't have to do very heavy reading. We actually got. we got cutscenes.
We've been hearing since Keitel day even before the game even came out. It's been more than just the one lore tab. We've known about her ever since the collector's edition of the launch vanilla game came out. There's been little tidbits sprinkled here and there. Yep.
That is true, but not everyone.
I guess we have, haven't we?
That is true, but not everyone reads that, and they have to be given like the cutscene and like actual dialogue. So it's like outside of like lore. I mean, I'm gonna take something from My Name Is Bife. There's a difference between reading something about in lore than there is actually being able to have it be told to you in a story.
Don't tell.
That's true.
Don't tell. So we actually got to see Keitel. We got to see how she is, how she acts, which guaranteed. In the lore, she has gone through one hell of a character change from how she was to how she is now.
Yeah,
I wasn't super up on the lore before.
I'm sure seeing your house on fire is an easy way to go, huh?
Well,
I wasn't super up on the lore before
working.
this for her.
Yeah.
I think it was a little bit out of left field, like...
The only things it was very left field, but the only things, to be fair, when it came to the lore, I knew that Keitel was the bastard child of Callus.
She's illegitimate, isn't she?
I knew she was... Well, she is legitimate, but...
Yeah, she's legitimate.
I say bastard because she's the one who did the midnight coup.
Yeah.
Oh.
Tried to kill the
she and Callus's right-hand general were the ones that led and organized it, along with, I believe, Otzot.
Well, it's why Dominus came to power. Why Gaul came to power. And literally, that's like the only thing I really knew outside the little thing of heir apparent, which I believe was hers. From what the lore tab mentioned. And that Callus wanted to kill her, and Keitel wanted to kill Callus. That's like the only things I really knew about her. Like nothing about her personality, nothing about her character. But when she actually came in,
a little bit personality.
It is, but
we again going back to the stuff that was involving the Midnight Coup, like all of the lore tabs from the Leviathan raid, all of the stuff from the Collector's Edition. They gave us something of a look at her personality. We know that she isn't one to just sit on a throne and give orders. If anything, that's one of the big reasons that she and her father never got along, is because she was always the type to go out and do things herself.
Well, the best way to describe her is that I was talking, I think, Jen, it was with you. I was discussing the current Cabal leaders, comparing them to Roman
that was
Caesars.
Me. Yeah.
And Callus is definitely based off of Nero. Like, there's no fucking doubt. And with that being said, I would have to say that Keitel is most likely based off of Augustus. And then to top that off, it's like Dominus, well... there's not really much to say about him since he's a goo pile at this point.
Gary.
I mean, for being the first boss in the game, he was not bad.
He was a fun boss fight. That's all I really have to say about him. He was a fun
He was a really easy boss fight, but he was fun.
until Solstice of Heroes came out. We went in and way overpowered and just one-phased him before he even got to the additional boss fight phases.
Yep.
Yeah.
Going back and fighting him now is like, are you sure you were a boss?
Finger flick goes through building.
But yeah, no, we actually got to learn more about the Cabal through an actual story, not just through lore tabs, which we would have to have read. Which makes a big difference for the game, because Destiny, for the longest time, I felt like, even in 1, until I would say Iron Lords and Taken King, it was very much, hey, read the books. Which isn't... Did we lose Nappa? We lost Nappa. Bye, Nappa. Which works for some people, doesn't work for everybody. It's like kind of what happened with Halo in a sense, where they're expecting, like, there's this big gap in what happened. Reality is, there's like 6 books you had to have read to build up for 4.
Whereas the difference is with Destiny, they built that from the start going in, expecting that people would take the time to go off and read things. And because of that, there's a lot of context missing that never gets explained.
The downside also to this is that in the first game, we didn't have a way to go back and read lore, as in comparison to...
Yeah, you did. It was called Bungie.net. Get off the Xbox. Get on your
as
PC.
in comparison to, like, now...
No, that doesn't
even
work.
in comparison to now, we actually have, like, the lore.
What, you don't all have phones?
Like, a pseudo... We have, like, a pseudo lore tab, which is just, like, the collected shit we find.
Which kind of works. I still would like a little more, like, in-game story, but I do appreciate the lore being actually, like, in-game.
And, like,
as
it's
opposed
actually
to
being
not.
shown. We're being told this. We're finding out about characters.
Yeah, if I
It
want to go
turns
read
out
something,
that
I don't have to go
Crow-
dig it out on a
It
separate
turns out
website.
that Crow is actually, like, a decent guy now.
He's fucking
I mean,
adorable.
No, Crow is
As
also
someone-
always being a decent guy. Aldrin's a dick.
Well, even that though, as someone who read all of the lore from the start, I kind of saw that coming. Like even Uldren, before all the crap he got put through, that same core was there. It was just centuries of manipulation, neglect, being fully aware of it, then getting tossed into the Black Garden without light to protect his mind.
The dude,
Crap broke.
like...
Crap broke and it didn't
The
get
dude's
fixed.
the definition of sister issues.
Family issues
Yeah.
in general, yeah.
Like, I mean, his family line is like a basket of whatever to begin with, but I mean, seeing his character actually develop this season, especially from last season, from what I saw, he actually developed very well to the point where, like, spoilers for the season of The Chosen, he literally goes out of his way to stop Zavala from fucking dying.
Well, he'd done that before, though. That's
He
the
did
thing.
it the
Like
first
even
time,
last season,
but I
when
mean,
no. Like we know a couple of times before, like even ignoring Osiris, we know that at least one other warlock where he went out of his way to save them. He
has that streak.
despite most guardians trying to kill him on sight, he's still been going out of his way. Like even when nobody's been looking to protect other guardians he comes across, he never sticks around because he knows what's going to happen when they see his face.
But what I'm talking about, this is the first time where he's actively... This, like, him saving Zavala is actually a huge thing. I mean, the whole entire, like... The entire end cutscene where Zavala reaches out his hand is a mere cutscene from Forsaken when Aldrin popped Cade. That was...
Yeah.
It was...
That was a big
It was a very
moment.
big moment. I know a lot of people are like unhappy that Crow is like they redeemed Aldrin as Crow.
No,
that's
it's not the same person.
Aldrin
that's the
wasn't
thing.
irredeemable though
But
either.
that's
A lot of the Aldrin kind of was all the things he
did
did,
some
all the
fucked up
things he
shit.
was willing to do. He at the end there, he didn't know right from wrong. There was no going back. For
He
him.
wasn't even in control of himself at
No.
the end.
he got swallowed by a giant butthole.
He was under the Ahamkara's control. He had no control over himself anyway.
Influence. He knew what he was doing. It was just that
Yeah.
Riven convinced him that it was the right thing to do because he didn't know right from wrong anymore at that point.
Yeah, but now at this,
I mean, it was pretty heavy
yeah,
influence.
that dude was almost taken. I mean,
he still had a choice. Is the thing?
that dude was
though.
like one step from being taken. But outside.
Yeah, it was manipulation as opposed to just straight control.
Outside of that, though, it is good to see his character, like, develop. Exotic Quest, this time around, the Glycon Presage, I have to admit, it's a nice change
so eerie.
in pace, in theme, and in storytelling.
I got Alien Isolation flashbacks. Those
Oh my
those were
god,
not
so many
okay.
Alien
More like
Isolation
Dead
flashbacks.
Space, honestly.
That's still not okay.
Same meal, different wrapper.
Yep.
It was creepy.
Like, it was very well done. No, don't get me wrong, the fucking mission has bugs. It has so many bugs. But it is a
couple.
very interesting scenario which we got.
It was
Because they did a
is.
thing where it's like they managed to focus story over lore, especially for this mission. And in order to entice us to come back, having a random roll exotic to come back each week.
Unfortunately, that is the unfortunate thing, though. That's the last one we're going to see for a while.
people were.
Oh, speaking of
complaining
random
about
roll
it.
exotics, one thing I don't like about how the season is done is how you get the new exotics. Like, I don't mind that they're behind this hard activity. I like that. But the drop chance on any exotic is so low that it's, like, nearly impossible to get them.
Oh, that's been a thing for 2 seasons now.
Well,
that's...
Dead Man's Tale
And
is a
they need to
guaranteed
fix
drop.
it.
Has it really been
Yeah.
2 seasons?
Yeah, that
Oh, it doesn't
that-
feel like it's been
those,
2 seasons.
Those Lost Sector activities came out with Beyond Light.
It does not feel like it's been 2 seasons since that. Wow.
Well, this
Yeah,
is
Icefall
second
Mantle, Athers's Embrace, and the
I
Crop
still
Grip
don't like
were-
it.
Well,
Those were
actually,
all
no,
locked.
There were 6 because there was also
Oh, Mask of Bacchus.
yeah
I will check
Bacchus.
Precious Scars and
No, that was
yeah,
this season.
was this one. Precious Scars and
Precious
Dawn
Scars and-
Quirus. Yeah,
Dawn Court was that?
Man,
was that
I'm
not
really
this season?
behind.
yeah. Because no, Dawn, Mantle of Battle Harmony is this season.
Oh, I'm really behind on those. Wow.
But outside of the exotics being harder to get, I think Presage kind of like takes us back a little bit to some classic storytelling in arenas. Like some of the developers even
Oh, yeah.
said that the hangar was based off of, I think it was, what was it, CE?
Halo Reach,
Was it
Halo Reach,
or CE.
was it
Anchor 9.
was it Anchor 9?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it was Anchor 9.
But to be fair, the design though, it very much reminded me of Halo 2 when you're fighting along that route in the hangar on
Cairo Station, first
that
hangar.
first hangar. It also reminded me heavily of the Truth and Reconciliation hangar fight.
Yeah, that's what it
Mm.
reminded me of.
Yeah, actually, the geometry is pretty similar. There is just way
Yeah,
scaled
there's
down.
not like 3 fucking stories above that with other shit shooting down at you, which I'm grateful for because you damn well know they'll do it.
Or hunters.
Like,
Yeah. I the entire thing was definitely felt like
it felt like a throwback.
343
Actually,
Galaxy Spark like mission, like the first Halo mission where you
Mhm.
find
Which
the flood for the first time. Like you have that horror aspect.
it
Yeah.
felt like
Actually,
they went to
that's-
form,
Entire
and you can
time.
tell that the developers really enjoyed doing it with how the fights were patterned out. Like,
That's true.
Actually, that's a fun thought exercise. Taking failings with
yeah, fuck
boomers.
that.
Oh, stop
But
that!
I'm having flashbacks to dealing with the fucking barrier goblins with goddamn whatever the hell those giant plasma
No.
caster things are.
No, there will be nothing as annoying as year 3 pre-patch taken
Yeah,
scions.
you got a point.
One survives,
Yeah,
you look away,
yeah.
30 seconds later, there's another 15 behind you.
It was definitely a kill situation. But no, it's like you look at that, and I'm hoping that the Prestige mission is kind of like a little show for what we could probably expect in future missions that they design, and I hope that is the case.
Oh, I hope so.
I'm hoping so. The thing that has me nervous about that is the stars kind of aligned for this season, because not only did we get Joe Blackburn back in charge in a general sense, like the same guy that gave us Forsaken instead of Luke Smith doing Luke Smith things, but the guy that gave us this season, like the one in charge of this specific season, was also the one that gave us Season of Opulence, and I don't think we've gotten anything from him. I don't think we got anything else from him before this.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. Yeah.
until I see who's working on the next season, who we can either thank or blame, depending on how good it is. Until I see who's involved with the next season, as much as I want to, I don't have high hopes that it'll be the same as
I get you.
Season of the Chosen.
I get you, because it's...
I do think this is a turn... Sorry.
I understand. It's like, Destiny does not have a good track record. Like,
No.
we can have
It's a
like
fun
a good
game, but
season,
no.
then we have like a stretch of bad seasons, then we get a good season, then it's bad seasons.
I do hope, though, that seeing the success of this season, since they have been going out of their way to engender goodwill as of late until the transmog thing.
Well, the transmog thing is fresh, and they gotta find a way to balance it. Unfortunately.
Yeah,
But-
it's not gonna last like that.
I hope not.
I do think that they're going to look at the success of this season, and we may get another season or two that is mediocre, just because those are already in the pipe and those have already been developed and getting pushed through.
Yeah.
But from maybe Witch Queen onwards, I think they may start modeling seasons more after what they did here with Season of the Chosen.
Season of the Chosen was absolutely
It was-
brilliant.
Well, one thing, really, I don't think anyone's been talking about is the acquisition of the loot for this season has been phenomenal in the way you can target what you want and the umbrals you've been able to get.
I'm pretty sure that's a permanent thing now too, is it not?
It is.
It should be. I think it could be better. It's still nothing compared to what we had gotten during Season of
Yeah,
Arrivals.
but at the same time, it's just
Like,
what
it's
they
not-
shove into that loot pool, though.
It's not. Well, it's not just that. It's not just that either, though. It's not nearly as targeted as it was in Season of Arrivals, and the amount of effort you have to put into focus a single engram is anywhere between 3 to 5 times as much effort as you had to put in Season of Arrivals. And even in Season of the Rivals, there were people grinding that crap, and they never got their god rolls over the entire 3 months
Good.
it was
they
going.
fucking just,
That's
well,
true.
good,
Of
they just
RNG.
fucking sat there and goddamn forged shit, and that's all they did.
I mean, the point of the
I mean,
umbrella
hey,
engrams
hey,
is to try and
hey,
make that
don't-
grind less, but
Don't knock that. I will be in there if they bring
Oh, no,
forges
I'm
back.
talking
I will
about-
spend the
I-
first
Oh, I
2
love
months living
forges.
in
I'm
there.
talking
if they
about the
bring
people
those
that
back.
just sat there, did nothing to get loot out of it.
AFK.
Oh, the ones that.
oh,
the
yeah,
ones that-
those.
the ones that were
Yeah.
farming, the ones that were material farming
Yeah.
forges. Eh.
They also did that to like raise light level, because I think it was a thing for a while where it was dropping the tier gear they needed, and they didn't have to do jack and shit.
Yeah. Like, it will like they have said umbrals are staying, and now I think the loot specifically hasn't been a huge chase. Like, there's maybe 2 guns that are worth actually getting, which is the rocket launcher and the SMG. Past
Oh,
that, there's
it's
really nothing. You
Well, to be
can,
fair, on a
like,
standard
you
Napa
get
to
it,
counter
but-
you a bit, that loot pool there is still good for people to snag. Like,
it's a great place for new light
Oh,
players to go. It gives them very serviceable gear right off the bat
also
for.
fucking Umbral engrams
a modicum of
drop
effort.
like fucking crack. It's worse than goddamn greens. I hate it.
It's not as bad as Season of Rivals, I can tell you that
I
much.
literally
that's
do
true.
one strike, and I'm not sure if it was my luck, but my fucking inventory filled up. I ended up going
Yeah.
to the
I
goddamn
get-
meal robot, and it's just like, oh hey, guess what's in here? I'm like, more
You're
fucking
full.
Umbral engrams. That's what it is.
I
Yeah.
get maybe 1 or 2 per strike. I don't get that many.
I get luck.
But like, you can at least try and chase down some of the things you want.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
It
yeah.
allows you to
And
focus really
honestly, I think
Oh,
that's really what the game has needed for a long time. Is just world loot is one thing, but there's needed to be more direct paths to farm what you want. They had this down
What,
during
I can't
Forsaken,
just
and again,
force-
I credit Joe
I
Blackburn for
can't force
that.
feed Banshee all my
but-
gunsmith materials to get world drops.
Sure you can.
Oh, come on, Bungie. I'm just saying, Bungie, you're giving him vendor rotation next season. Just take that one step further. Give me Arms Day back,
Yes,
please.
give
I
me
beg you.
Arms
Just
Day.
give me Omelon. Give me Hawk. Give me Soros back.
That's another thing I really
please.
want. I want our factions and our fucking Guns Day and shit back. I want
Oh,
that back
yes.
so bad.
We haven't had a faction rally in how long now?
Ever.
We haven't had them since the very start of Forsaken, I believe.
Like, what happened? I know they said they were bringing them back, but bro, when?
No.
it's-
They said they were never bringing. They said they weren't bringing them back. They said for a while
Did
they
they
were, and then they just gave
Oh.
up and said they were not bringing them back.
Well, that's rude.
They didn't find a good way to make them worth it, because that was the OG bounty simulator. All you did was grind lost sectors.
I feel
remember,
like they just need to rework it.
Oh, they do.
Honestly, well, they don't even need to rework it. What they need to do is do what they're doing with Banshee and just go back to the way it was in Destiny 1. The factions were a fun little side thing that you could get involved in. They awarded decent faction-specific gear, but it was nothing game-breaking. It was just something to keep you busy.
To do. It was a
Passive
nice thing to
leveling.
look forward to, and it spurred friendly competition. That's what it was.
Yeah, exactly.
I do like the way they have done the Crucible and the seasonal challenges for this season have been amazing.
Seasonal challenges have changed
Crucible,
up how the
it
seasons
is-
work, which is
it
really
is-
nice.
It's tedious to have to go like to there to reset, but you're not having to just sit there and pound back tokens.
They did
and
the
being
same
able
thing
to
with Gambit.
constantly level it up.
And honestly, it's a nice change.
Yeah, except it doesn't award Gambit gear. The only Gambit gear to come out of those rank up packages is friggin' armor.
And it should be specific gear. You actually should be able to pick between armor and weapons of what you want.
Yeah. Like I would love the opportunity. Like I would love an option that lets me get fewer engrams for my rank ups, but lets me focus them.
Honestly, I'm just happy there's another route to get. There's actually like worth playing Crucible, and I've always enjoyed playing Gambit, but it gives other people more incentive to play it. Where there's a loot pool to where you actually rank up, you get some shit. It's a good return.
Yeah.
Like especially when it comes to upgrade materials. Like, and if you're just passively playing Crucible, and I know there's a lot of the community that just does. I mean,
You're not breaking the bank for every upgrade module, getting 20 of them at the beginning of each season.
But and also at the same time, it's like, don't get me wrong, I know Gambit's an acquired taste. I love Gambit. I play Gambit how fucking Nappa here plays Crucible.
Mm-hmm.
It is really nice to be able to sit there and I'm like, okay, I'm ranking up again. Here's this, and this, and I don't have to worry about just picking up like the weekly bounties. Though I do miss the weekly bounties. It is.
I thoroughly enjoy the way they've done this.
It is.
The seasonal
It is
challenges.
a very nice change up.
The one thing that does have me slightly nervous, I will admit, as much as it's nice to have the new guns and gear, but without a way to focus them, what does make me slightly nervous is the addition of new playlist-specific weapons each season going forward, because it's already hard enough to get a bottom dollar, but with them further diluting the loot pool like that...
Here's the other problem. They need
It's a
to
pretty big
go
loot pool right now.
through and revamp those.
It's
they need to
actually
go
not.
through and revamp those strike loot drops. Like I want.
They're actually not too bad.
What I'm talking
At least in my
about
personal
is
experience.
that when it comes down to it, there was very few weapons that were unique, like unique design, unique so on and so forth when it came down to it. And if you guys know what I'm talking about, Destiny 1's like thing with like, hey, I can get like this unique armor piece from this strike.
Yeah, Nightfall reward.
Yeah.
I mean,
Nightfall
yeah, we had that going for a while. That was a thing all the way through Forsaken.
Hey, look, a bottom color.
And it was like, and now I feel like they kind of went back on that when they introduced sunsetting, and I'm pretty sure this will be fixed eventually. But I mean, there was some.
Well, I don't personally think so, because for two reasons. First, because I think they're trying to put more increased focus on GMs to encourage people to take on that aspirational content as opposed to just farming hero nightfalls over and over and over and over again. And even with those, both GMs and regular nightfalls currently are going to be awarding nightfall specific drops, and things will get potentially complicated if they start adding nightfall specific drops.
I'm not referring to the nightfalls and GMs. I'm referring to the base Vanguard strikes, because at the same time, I'm also referring to like the new light players. They're not going to have access to that shit right away. And having good gear that'll drop from some of these strikes, I mean, some of those strike guns were fucking phenomenal.
Grasp of Malik
being one of them.
Devil's Advocate was another nice one.
But you can kind of see what I mean. It's one of those things where you can go through, and hell, even like higher light players just run in Vanguard strikes. It's nice to get a gun or a nice piece of armor or something for what you're doing.
I mean, that's kind of the thing, though. I've been pretty happy with the strike specific drops I've been getting. Like, I've gotten both a Feeding Frenzy Rampage Third Axiom. I've gotten a Quick Draw Rampage Third Axiom. I'm still chasing a Royal Entry.
That's only one gun. It's like, and these guns are being fucking rotated out next season.
No, they're not actually. They're staying and they're adding to the pool, which is where my concern is that they're going to dilute it with a bunch of different guns that are all going to continuously drop.
Adding another.
What they're doing next season is they're introducing 3 new Nightfall weapons that will take up the first 3 weeks for Nightfalls and GMs. And then after that, you're going to be able to farm the current selection of Nightfall weapons, the Palindrome, the Swarm, and the Shadow Price.
I wish it was more directed. Like, if you wanted to,
like I said, focused.
You could pick the different, specifically with GMs, it would be nicer if you could pick, like, as right now, you get to pick whatever Grandmaster strike you want. Pick that, and then pick the weapon you want. Even pay some current. I would pay some currency or legendary shards to be able to.
I mean, it's already kind of doing that. It's on a weekly rotation, is the thing.
Yeah, but I missed the previous weekly rotations. I'm gonna have to wait how many more weeks before I get a chance of another one, right?
I mean, if you're farming them, like,
not everyone. Grandmasters. Now, being specific with the Grandmasters on this, because like if you're gonna do high level content, you should be direct. Yes. Is that like I should be able to specifically go after something, right?
I mean, you can right now. It's just
no. Right now, I can't farm a Swarm or a Shadow Price.
Well, no, that's going to be next week.
Wait till it comes out, right?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. And plus they're adding 3 more, which means that it goes from a 3-week rotation to a 6-week rotation.
Unless they make it.
Well, part of the reason they do that though is to increase the challenge. Like, the idea is to get people in and playing strikes that they normally wouldn't do. It's going to get old fast if somebody just goes in and farms the same strike each week for the same gun.
Look at the ground because I've been doing that for platinum medals this past week. And it's like I kind of just turn off my brain, turn on a podcast, and just go. That's
like that's what you're already doing is you're throwing yourself into. You just get a chance.
Do we know if it's going to go straight to the rotation, or are they going to do it's one or the other for the week?
What do you mean?
Do we know if they're going to like
keep the for the adept weapon, the Nightfall weapons? They're going to do the new ones for the first 3 weeks, and then on week 4 it'll start rotating in the older guns again.
Okay, I honestly, when it comes to this, I think it is a little poorly implemented, but if you're grinding those adept weapons, there is going to be a caveat to it. There's always going to be a caveat to how you're going to get this, because it's one of those things.
They're not going to make everyone happy. It's
not possible to make everybody happy.
they're not going to make everyone happy. They're going to have to balance RNG versus just getting what you want first go. And there are going to be, they got to figure out a way to keep people coming back and doing a different strike each week instead of just doing the same one over and over and over.
Honestly, I just really wish they would just fucking, like, rotate out the fucking arms dealer. I've done it so many times. Rotate out the arms dealer.
Yeah. Well, the problem with that is we
open
need
up the
more
trash bin
strikes.
and fucking chuck it in there.
We also need more proof. We need a lot more maps in general, not just strikes. We need.
Yeah, transmog. Transmog and Season of the
bad.
Drip. So, with the update that came out, outside of them being like, ooh, Guardian games, we got like a full detail setup of the transmog, how it's supposed to work for this first run. And this feels very much like transmog, like not even like beta, it feels like alpha stages.
It really does. It doesn't feel like it's been complete at all.
Like they've
yet.
been working on it, and I understand it's really hard to work on something during a quarantine and being wherever they need, because I think Washington, where they're at,
they're still working from
home in comparison to other states. So I'm pretty sure it's a lot of it's like make sure we have a rough concept out and then iron out later, which is what.
I mean, I like what I'm seeing as far
I like
as
the UI.
Interface is
UI
concerned.
looks good, but from what I'm seeing, it's definitely going to be worked on. And as much, I'm not a huge fan of like all the shit with transmog, like all the steps. Even F Season of the Drip, we're going to get like bonus material to do this. It's definitely a very much needs to be ironed out because there's too many steps to get what you need. Like, I'm sorry, some of these materials are just fucking confusing. I mean, you need shadow, like, synth weave to get synth cord, and then you need to do this and this, and it just...
It's the other way around, I think. I can pull it up.
I'm looking at it right now.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Where did I put it? I lost my page.
Synth strand to synth cord to synth weave to
that's
transmog.
Steps.
Which is
That is
just so convoluted and bad.
There's also so many variables.
Many RPGs, do you?
Much...
But even then, a lot of... Like, I'm going to use Diablo as an example, which it's probably a bad example to do, but their stuff is very straightforward. But that's also because they don't have to really monetize it or find a way to really work for it. I mean,
this you can't. They're not even monetizing this. Like, yes, you can buy them early, but at the same time, you can still only get 10. You can't buy more.
You can earn 10.
That.
You can buy more beyond the 10.
Seriously? Yeah. It didn't read like that. That's dumb.
They haven't confirmed it yet, as far as I've seen, whether or not you can go over it by buying.
So, from what I understand, like, I'm looking at their Eververse, they're saying Eververse will also offer synthweave templates. For direct purchase through Guardian appearance screen, players may either purchase a single synthweave or they may purchase five-piece bundle. They currently...
Yeah, but I didn't say whether you could purchase more.
Well, given they don't state that you can't purchase more, it's very vague.
Yeah, they also don't say you can't.
So it's open-ended.
It is unconfirmed as of now whether or not you will be able to purchase over the 10 limit of the...
Honestly, it's not badly priced for silver. I'm not gonna buy it. It's vanity. There's no... Like, I'm a sucker to buy shit for vanity if I want to support the game. But if there's a way for me to work for it, I'll work for it. It feels...
I'm gonna...
It does feel like the amount of effort they're going through to be like, here's all these steps. And then they're like, here's this loop around. It feels like they want the loop around to be kind of like teased a bit. Which I can understand because they kind of need... They need money to fund this.
I mean, they do, but...
We also don't know any of the drop rates for the base material and how much is actually... Well, did they put numbers on how much?
No, they didn't. No numbers.
The only numbers that were there is how many you need of the base material.
And from what I understand, it'll be dropping with the season stuff too.
Yeah, there'll be stuff you'll be able to earn it through the paid season pass, but like it really depends. It's dumb. Like it's way too many steps to get to the final product.
Which could be refined.
But if definitely, and it probably will be because there's going to be enough of an outcry that Bungie will change it.
Especially if they're gonna make the earnable limit per season 10 and then make it. I feel like people are gonna be really mad about that if that's the case.
About that, I'm gonna come out with a hot take here. I know it's not gonna be a popular one. Can either of you name 2 full sets of armor that you are going to transmog in the first week? Actually, no. Let's go beyond that. Can you name 4 full sets of armor per character that you're going to transmog in the first week and that you will regularly switch between?
I'm a Titan.
Not for Hunter, for Titan, yes. And for Warlock, probably.
Nick's got a point. I mean, straight up, once people get their style, they get their style, and that's what they're going to use.
I mean, I swap my style a lot.
And even moving beyond that, not many people really. We only, assuming we get two new seasonal armors each season. The Eververse one, which is going to be on rotation anyways, and the season pass armor. Discounting those, since not many people use those anyways, you get 2 more sets each season per class, per character. So per character, because nobody's running 2 Titans or 2 Hunters.
Yeah, since
that catches up.
And
except maybe Nappa.
Especially if
no, I have one of these.
I know. I'm.
That's honestly, when we
I mean the Eververse ornaments are still. I like
the biggest
those
thing. Like I was reading about this transmog system, they said they were having issues with year 1 stuff. That
it's just the faction specific ornaments, Dead Orbit, the Vanguard
New
ornaments
Monarchy
for the Vanguard
stuff,
armor, stuff like that. That will eventually get fixed. It's just technical issues that they're working on getting out. And honestly, I'm kind of glad that they're upfront about that, because we're not going to get to launch day and everybody's looking for that ornament, because I know I would be one of those people.
Yeah.
Same.
It is nice when they're upfront about the issues that they're having.
One against a lot more. I think one of the other ones people are currently upset about is the glows that people paid for the 2018 armor, and that are not supported.
They said there was technical issues
the thing
with that.
Yeah, that's because they would have to include a new armor slot on every piece of armor to make that work. And the other thing about that is we get a new set of that armor every year. So that as much as people are complaining about that, that's going to go away real fast once the next solstice comes around and they start focusing on those armor pieces.
Though I will admit, this year's solstice armor was pretty fly.
I am a fan. Miss the Revelry armor where you could get antlers. I was really happy about that, and then can't actually use them at all. So you had to pay money for those ones.
Again, it's a matter of when it updates, they'll fix it. It's going to be one of those things.
They haven't talked about those ones specifically. They said you'd be able to wear them in the Revelry. They were up for however many weeks the Revelry was up, and that was it.
Again, it was at that point where it was move on, go about, do their thing, because I think that was at the time where they were still with Activision. It's like, that's another thing we got to take into account with this. It's like, Bungie, at this point, like, they had their Activision split. They literally, I think shortly, when did that happen? Because I think it was just before
before
January of last year.
Yeah. Literally, they did not have this, like, the fact that this studio is still, like, the fact that Bungie would be operating without a problem to begin with, the fact that they're still able to produce the content and work on what they're able to do from an at-home setup is fucking impressive.
Well, that's kind of part of the thing. I think a lot of people don't take it into account, because you think Bungie, you think big AAA studio. They are technically an indie studio now. They are the world's largest indie studio, but they are self-publishing.
Yeah. And it's one of those things where there it is. They're now self-publishing, they're now putting out stuff, and they got to figure out things, because it's like, Bungie as a studio does not know how to monetize.
They have to figure out logistics that they haven't had to think about since the days that they were publishing for Mac.
Yeah.
And anyone familiar with Bungie's history knows that did not go smoothly. If I remember right, one of their games had a bug where if you uninstalled it, it uninstalled everything, not just the game. Your OS.
I know which game it was.
Seriously?
It was the first
Holy
total recall
shit,
of a game.
that's a bad bug.
A lot of people are either young enough that they never knew about that, or old enough that they have forgotten about it.
I definitely didn't know about that, and oh my god.
But no, it's one of those things where Bungie's still got to figure this out, and everyone's like, "Oh, they're a big studio; they should know this." No one understands monetization or how it's going to work, especially applying it to a free-to-play setting.
Warframe.
Yeah, but Warframe has issues.
Yeah, how many currencies does Warframe
too
have? How many
fucking much.
fucking...
Not as many as Destiny.
No.
But Warframe also has real-life wait times to encourage people to spend that money, and it's why I stopped playing.
I hate it.
I'm pretty
I mean,
sure
fair.
Warframe has way more currencies than Destiny.
Warframe also
No, it does
is
not.
also notorious for trying something and then just ditching it. They're like Google.
Warframe,
had a
they keep a lot, most
thing.
of their
It
stuff.
didn't work and they let it die.
Let's be fair to Google. They're like the Sonic franchise.
Warframe had a PvP setting. They're like, oh cool, we'll try
It
it,
still has
and then
it.
they just didn't do anything with it.
Same with
Well,
Destiny.
Warframe PvP is really hard to do. It's still there. That PvP setting is still there, and they do still actively use it. It's just bad.
They've
It's
done
just
nothing
really, really
with it.
bad.
They've done nothing to fix it or try to patch it. They just let it out the pasture. They're just like,
No, they actually
Yeah.
have done some things to patch it recently.
Okay, Jen,
Yeah.
let's sit down a
It's
moment.
bad, but
Let's sit down a moment.
it's
Make a
not
side-by-side
bad.
comparison there. Let's sit down and make a side-by-side comparison between Warframe's PvP and, yes, I'm going to use this as an example, Crucible for Destiny 2, which has seen more updates and more monitoring.
I
Destiny
mean,
2,
obviously
but it's
Destiny 2.
But
Because
it's
the
close.
game was designed for PvP. Warframe's PvP was an
let's just take a
afterthought.
moment. Let's just take a moment to appreciate how bad that
oh, you
comparison
guys want to know
is.
something catastrophic
Terrible.
for Warframe? You know they're introducing like combat vehicles, right?
They already have. They're actually
I
really
mean,
fun.
they've always
They're
kind of
super
had
fun.
those. I remember the Grenier Flyers from like
I'm
the
talking
day and a
about in
half
the
I played.
individual missions.
Yeah, they already
they
have, and they're
implemented it.
really fun.
Eh.
They work, and they're really, really fun. Straight up, I really enjoy
But at
them.
the same time here, it's like comparing Warframe to Destiny, it's like at this point there's matches that could be made.
There's not a lot of
there
comparison
is no
to be made.
longer any real comparison to be made.
They started in the same place, but they have evolved in such drastically different directions that it's not one-to-one anymore. It never
No,
will
not
be
even
again.
a little bit.
The biggest thing though with Destiny's issue when it comes to transmog at this point, I think they just need to dumb it down. They need to dumb it down.
So it could definitely use simplification. Don't get me wrong on that. I don't think there's a need for 3 different
And
materials.
Nick, I'm gonna agree with you on
Yeah.
No,
this.
definitely
Like
not.
it makes sense. 2 fucking sets of armor you can unlock yourself, a set of armor you can fucking buy through the rotation, the set of armor you get from the season pass.
Yeah.
It's
Like what I think what a lot of people forget too is that
on top of ornaments from events
Even playing
through
devil-
the fucking
even-
season.
even playing devil's advocate for the 3 different materials, almost all of that is going to be going on in the background as you're playing the game and as you're chasing other things.
I mean, shit,
Yeah.
on top of that, we no longer need like 7 fucking shaders purchased out of our collection or so on and so forth. It's going to be a nice cleanup that we need to, I think it will balance out. The only problem I have is I think the shaders prices should vary on rarity.
I mean, honestly, I don't think it's a problem. Again, as someone, again, what a lot of people forget are the seasonal challenges award you Bright Dust. The weekly bounties are gone, but you still get the same amount of Bright Dust from the weekly challenges. You still get Bright Dust from repeatable bounties. If anybody is playing this game with any degree of regularity, you're going to be earning a couple hundred Bright Dust a week.
I'll fully admit, by the time like I ended up blowing through all my Bright Dust, buying like big shit that I wanted from this season, I was sitting pretty at like 20,000 Bright Dust. Like,
yeah, no. A lot of people still have a ton of it, and that's not going to change. If anything, I feel like the increase in Bright Dust is... People are bitching about it because of the comparison to Legendary Shards, which are pretty much worthless at this point, but I don't think what they're... I think they're not looking at how much the amount of Bright Dust you get per day has increased.
Honestly, I think they should adjust it a little bit off of some of the bounties. Especially event bounties, I think it should be increased a little bit.
Yeah, I think it needs a little tuning. Don't get me wrong, but I think that people are blowing the increase way out of proportion just because it's an increase.
It is the Destiny community, though. I will fully admit, we are fucking notorious for sounding like that. This system is in the works, and Bungie even said that. It's a matter of getting things refined down, understanding how it works, and being able to put it out at an efficient pace. I'm pretty sure we'll have an entirely different version of Transmog by the time Witch Queen drops. There's
with how things in this game iterate from season to season.
That's true. That's fair. Yeah, because I was gonna say it comes out next season, but they're probably going to be editing it for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I assume right now, as soon as they saw the launch and the feedback from Reddit, because they check it all the time, they went.
They do actually pay close. They do pay close attention.
Reddit,
I do not envy.
Reddit can be a very big echo.
Yeah, Reddit is a really bad echo chamber.
It's not the worst though. Bungie.net is worse than Reddit.
That's true, actually. That's really true. Bungie.net is so bad, and you can bet that people are going to be exploding about this on there, too.
Oh, yeah.
But, I mean, Bungie pays attention, so they probably know that people aren't exactly happy with how this is going.
It's like,
Because, like, even I've seen, like, in the last... When was it released? Like, 2 days ago? The info on it? 3 days ago? I have seen 6 separate articles. I get alerts for random shit on my phone, right? I have seen 6 separate articles saying, man, this is fucking bad.
I have too. And the worst part is, a lot of it's clickbait. I sat down and I read a few...
A lot of it's really badly written opinion pieces and clickbait.
Like, I've sat down and I read through some of the articles to get an idea of what the echo chamber is screaming inside Bungie.net and Reddit. And...
bad. They're screaming
and
bad
it's a lot of things where I'm sitting here, it's
language.
like, you guys are literally bitching about something that could be refined, and if we're just going through and playing and we're getting this, it's not going to be bad. And how many of you are going to get something and just like, because the big thing for me for Transmog, it's like, cool, I can get my Notorious Invader set back. I can use that as an ornament onto my armor and go about my day. There's only like really maybe 2 or 3 sets of armor I want. And that is the more smoothed out version of the Iron Banner armor, which look like actual plate.
That was good stuff. Instead of the samurai stuff?
Never been a big fan of that samurai stuff.
Me neither.
Yeah, my Notorious Invader, and then trying to remember what the other set was off the top of my head. I have to go back and look at it. But at that point, I'm like, once I get that stuff, I'm good. Because one of the big things I hate saying about this is that one of the things that drives me through the seasons is, do I like the gear that's dropping from it? If I don't like...
Yeah, I was not a fan of the Perfectus armor this season. I only used it because the seasonal challenge required it, and then I immediately got rid of it or applied ornaments.
Dude, I looked like a fucking Eldar sex slave. No. No, I did not like how that looked. It was bad.
It was bad.
I would like for them, if they're bringing the transmog system in and that, if even through Eververse they offer a lot of the older sets, like from the Revelry, from...
I think they eventually will, because one of the things they're actually doing is that they're going to allow people to buy, for Glimmer, I might add, an entire collection of all the year one shaders for anyone who missed them or who wasn't
cool.
around.
Does that mean I can get my new
That
monarchy
is kind of
shaders?
awesome.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yay.
So they are actually going to have that in Eververse, I believe. I'd have to double check the source. So
Nope,
be
you're
aware
right.
that
It
I
was
may
an
be wrong.
Eververse thing. You
Yeah.
are right. It's an Eververse thing, but it's for
It
Glimmer.
is for Glimmer. They're like, it's
Yep.
going to cost 2,500.
It is for Glimmer.
Glimmer to get, and once you do it, it'll unlock all the year one shaders, which I honestly think is really good, because year one shaders, they were hit or
Yeah.
miss, but there were some really fucking good gems.
There were some really nice ones.
So, keeping that in mind, I do think that they are aware of that problem. They are aware that it's getting to the point where so much stuff has been rotated out that the only way people can get it is if they do this. And the thing is, with Transmog coming out, a lot of the newer players are going to be seeing these older armor sets, and Bungie is aware of this.
Yeah, because a
And-
lot of the older armor sets were actually fairly nice.
And it's a
Not
good
all
way
of
to
them,
make money.
but-
Honestly, I would throw money at the screen to get some of the older armor sets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some really good ones there.
Okay.
I mean,
Like, they're doing what they can right now with what they have. They have to please the corporate suits that want monetization.
Of course.
But they are aware of some of these pitfalls. It's just that they need to get a working system out the door on the timeline that they promised. Because if they took an extra season to get this right and to further refine it, you know the community would be up
and the
in
worst
arms
part
about
is,
it
we
after
know
being
this is
promised
being
season
pushed
14.
out early.
I mean, the
because
community's
fact
going to be up in
Witch
arms
Queen
about
got
something
pushed back.
anyway. But yeah.
This is one of the things like that originally was supposed to come with Witch Queen. And
Yeah. You can have it early or you can have it
Yeah.
right.
and we got it early. It's better we get it early than with Witch Queen, and then we have to deal with all the shit in Witch Queen just until they iron out. Or if we get it now, it gets ironed out, and we have it.
They have time to
and we-
iron it
and
out.
We get
yeah.
it going into Witch
Yeah.
Queen, and then we look fly as
And-
fuck. I mean, shit.
And again, no, everybody knows Witch Queen comes around. Titans are just going to be rolling that wearing a dinosaur set.
Dinosaurs.
I hate
Hey,
the
that was
dinosaur
just concept
set.
art.
So-
It'll look
Oh,
entirely different.
It's so ugly.
It looks good.
Savathun's raid comes up, everybody loads in, you just see a bunch of fuckers wearing the Halloween costume.
That'd be
Yeah.
beautiful. Like, straight up. I can just imagine the cutscenes, us talking to Eris, fucking T-Rex head. No. It's like, the blessing of having your custom character in a cutscene. The downsides to having your custom character
my
in a
God.
cutscene.